Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of Ask the Expert. I'm Patty Farmer, one of your co-hosts, and my other co-host is Teresa Ream, and I'm so excited to have her today, and I'm really excited about sharing our industry expert with you today. It is going to be phenomenal. I just want to take a second and encourage you to not just listen, right? Taking action is really what's going to make the change in your business, right? And there's a reason this is called Ask the Expert, right? So I encourage you to connect with Tarnie, our industry expert today, as well as Teresa and I, if you haven't already, and just make sure that you really be thinking about what is just one thing. It doesn't have to be every single thing she says, but it's one thing that she says or shares today that if you just implemented that, your business could possibly be the game changer that you've been waiting for all year long. So with that said, Teresa, tell us a little bit about our guest today.
Thank you, Patty. Today we are talking about transforming your pain into empowerment with Tarnie Fulloon. Tarnie is a creator of body-centered medicine. Tarnie uncovers the messages that the physical body holds about how we think and how we feel and who we are. Tarnie's expertise lies in transforming your pain and anxiety by empowering your inner self healing. She is a mentor, healer, and speaker, think TEDx presenter, and budding author. She is also a previous Australian trained sports medicine physiotherapist. Think the Australian Olympics 2000. Got to hear more about that. Tarnie partners with those who are ready to heal their pain, anxiety, and overcome the places where we feel stuck in our lives on all levels, physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. Welcome, Tarnie.
Thank you, Teresa. Hi, Patty. Nice to be with you both.
It is so nice to have you here. It really is. So let's just jump right in, because I know you are going to have some amazing information for us today, and not just information, because we all know Google's in the information business, right? We're in the transformation business.
Yes.
So let's just jump in. So Tarnie, what's the number one thing that differentiates you from others in your industry?
Well, as Teresa read, I'm a transformational body-centered medicine therapist. But the thing that I do is I use the body as the guide for healing. So we all get stuck in our life. We have pain, anxiety, stress, issues with relationships, whatever. And all of that, what our emotional feelings, our mental beliefs and thoughts all get stuck in the body. So wherever we're getting stuck or whatever's not working in our life or in our physical, we've got pain in our physical body, I use that as the entry point. So I use the intelligence of the body and sort of bypass the mind in a way to help heal. And it actually really is amazingly transformational.
That's fabulous. And I really love the way that you're integrating all of that, mind, body, spirit, right? Because I think that sometimes when we have pain or anxiety, it does show up in more than one place, right? I mean, it could be in any area, but we all know that when people like to talk about life-work balance, we know that it does show up in more areas. When you're having something going on in your life, it does affect your business. When something's going on in your business, it does affect your life, right? So the fact that you integrate all of those and then help guide from what is happening in our body, it's like, how that cliche, success leaves clues. Well, basically what you're saying is so does our body, but we don't always listen. And sometimes we need someone to help.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Just like you guide people, Patty, with, marketing strategies, money flow, to help money flow, I'm the guide of, well, I can help be the excavator to dig in and see, well, what are you holding in there? And it's just a wonderful, wonderful I was going to say minefield, that wasn't the right word, but it's just a wonderful depth that's available and information that's available inside your body that most people are not connected to. We're all connected to our minds and we try and think things through, but this is going into the feeling body and then underneath the feeling body to what's really being held there.
Yes, that's absolutely right. We're just a walking head a lot of times, and we're not connected to the body. The sessions that I had with you, Tarnie, were really interesting and informative, where I held my certain, I call them little entities, but it was just getting in touch with those. Now when things are going on, I'm like, oh, okay, that's where that lies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Triggers.
And I would call them, Teresa, voices. So we have, I know entities is a lovely word, and I'd call them voices. They're aspects of ourselves. So I uncover, maybe it's the hurt inner child, or maybe it's the angry teenager, or maybe it's the, upset, maybe the feminine self has been pushed aside while the more masculine doing self is, and lots and lots of women have that one, where our overgiver, overdoer, we step into providing and we forget to take, so there's different, we get out of balance. And so I call them different voices, and they get embodied in the body. And it's about giving them, quote unquote, a voice, listening to what they have to say.
I feel like just a few weeks ago, Teresa, we invited Tarnie to come on the being thankful and grateful that we had, where we partnered with a few other groups as well. And we invited Tarnie to come in and do a kind of a mini session that everybody could see. And I have to tell you, the feedback that I have heard from people on how phenomenal that was amazing. Teresa, could you tell everybody, in case they weren't there, a little bit about what we did and why and how we invited Tarnie in? Because I think that is so powerful.
Well, we had kind of an impromptu gathering. I invited different women's groups, and two that ended up participating is the Coffee Club Divas and also the Prosperity Club by the founders, Joey Garrity, and then Heidi Parkerner with the Coffee Club Divas. And we wanted to, what my vision was that we all get together and we're grateful for each other, and we give like grateful testimonials about each other. And so Tarnie kind of set the stage with her gratitude meditation and kind of got us all calmed down, if you would say, to be able to participate in that fully. It was amazing.
Mm. Thank you. And thank you, Teresa. And I just want to say, Teresa is amazing the way she holds this presidency together and brings everyone together, one of your true gifts. And that was 10 minutes. It's amazing what you can do I think it might have even been less in the end, in 10 minutes, but, maybe 7 minutes, but it was amazing. I also did a TEDx talk, and I had something like 10 minutes, and the same thing. There's this audience out there that are just really, you can get into your body and drop in very quickly when you're guided. You have a certain guidance. So, and it's this body centering. So it's, again, bypassing the mind and getting into the body.
That's fabulous.
Good place to be.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, and that's where the juice is. That's where our aliveness is. That's where.
Well, I have
deliciousness. Yeah.
Nice. I have my question now. Tarnie, what is the question you get asked most often?
That's a great question. It is, can I, so someone's got a problem, they've maybe worked with different people, they've tried different modalities or different techniques
methodologies
to heal their problem, and they say, can I really change this situation? Can this really be shifted? Will it work? And you really have to try it. You have to really experience the work. Is this something that is going to resonate with me? And I have to say categorically, I've been in practice for over 40 years. There's been many in fact, I tried to count how many people once, but thousands of people that's lives have changed with this work. So yes, it can be changed. Yes.
Wow. Yes. So for those of your clients that have some sort of maybe heavy resistance at first, how do you break through that?
Yes, the resistance is actually a really, really big one to get through, because our mind and aspects of ourselves are very protective, especially if you've had trauma as a child, or you've had a negative experience of some kind. We have these protectors inside us. And so it's actually, one of the ways is to actually turn towards the resistance, or turn towards where the pain is, or turn towards. So often we're trying to fix it, get rid of it, move away from it. And one of the things is actually moving toward it. So, and that's really, it's sort of a paradox, and it's really unnatural. If I've got pain, or I've got something that I'm really anxious about or fearful of, or if I've got something that I'm really angry or frustrated with, I don't want to move towards it. But actually, one of the ways is, and to sit with it and to see, oh, it's actually not as bad. Our mind makes up such stories about how bad it is and wrong it is, and how we shouldn't do this or shouldn't do that. And so, yeah.
I would see though, I mean, sometimes the only way is to go through it, right?
Yes,
but that can be very, very scary, right? It's very, very scary, which is why we have the resistance in the first place, right? Is because it's kind of scary. Some of those things could be super hurtful things that maybe we've just been, packing down for many, many years, right? And now to say, oh, well, I should unpack that, right? However, I feel that that's kind of the great thing about you, Tarnie, is that, obviously we have to do the work, right? We have to unpack it, we have to go through it, but we don't have to do it by ourselves. And so having somebody to be there next to us, that we can trust and know that we can feel safe. So having a safe environment to be able to unpack that in order to move through it is very freeing, but very safe. And I would think that would be something that would be very, very important.
Can I just say, absolutely, Patty. And the thing is, I've found if I do it, if you're listening to the body, if I'm listening to that deeper guidance, knowing you only go as far as comfortable. So you're not pushing through it. The mind will push you through, right? Or the mind will stop you. But if you go into the body, there's a really different process that happens. And absolutely, I mean, one of the things I've got for my whole career is I create a safe, loving, kind, supportive process. So people, it's like, wow, I've never said this, or I didn't think I could get through this. But yes, because there is a space that I hold. And, I've been through my own trauma. So I actually know what it's really important to create a safe place.
Yes, one of the things that you did for me, Tarnie, is you helped me identify and kind of give it a character to one of my aspects when you asked me, where do you hold like anxiety or pain? And it was in my solar plexus. And we identified it as like a black stone. And so I always knew that I used my anger, and it was anger. And I always knew that I used my anger. I never turn it at people, but I turn it into something that works for me. Like I'll have a really good exercise session. I call it my angry workout, or I'll clean the house totally beautiful through my anger, and then it's done. So you were able to give me like something that I can identify with it easily, and it's kind of go to that.
Right. Yeah. Thank you.
That's always good to know, because we all have triggers, right? And sometimes when we're getting triggered, once somebody helps you to identify it, then you can recognize it. Oh, that triggered me, or something triggered me. But if you don't know that, you don't recognize it, now you're acting on that trigger, and that's not always a good thing, right? And so so getting to know that, I think, is
absolutely
really, really important. Learning what my triggers are in my food, in my health journey, was super, super important to me, to learn what things triggered me, to do certain things. And of course, once you know the trigger and you can recognize it, well, now you have choices, right? Now you can choose to maybe deal with it in a different way, like what you said, right? You turned it to whether you're exercising or cleaning or whatever. But when we can recognize the trigger ahead of time, we can also have a choice. And I think one of the things that's even more important is if you're working with someone and you already have those choices set up. So that way you're not like in the moment trying to make the choice when you're triggered, but you actually already have a plan. When this triggers me, this is how I'm going to handle it. And it's a safe environment for you to be able to do it. And I would think, although Tarnie, I'm going to ask, is if that is true, will it get easier as time goes on, as you're recognizing the trigger, because you don't have to get so much in it before you can get yourself out of it?
Totally. I'm totally. I mean, you both voiced beautifully. It's a lot of the work is bringing awareness, so then you can work with it. And one of the things that opens up is more possibilities and choice. So you're not, so, you know, as you were saying, Patty, when you're aware of something, if you're not aware, you're going down this path, right? But when you become aware of it suddenly and you get support, you get guidance of what, you know, maybe how you might react or how you might deal with it, then you've got different choices or different pathways. So Teresa, with her anger, can choose to either turn it on herself, okay, and then eat herself up. She could turn it on to someone else, get angry with someone else's situation, or she's recognizing it, and I'm going to use that energy to clean the house. So you know, and you might Teresa might be angry with someone and she needs to voice something, so she becomes aware of it. Oh, okay, let's feel what I'm angry about. Oh, I really have to give someone some feedback or share something with someone. But you use it then in a constructive or positive way. So it really is, a lot of it is about getting awareness, understanding what's happening, and then having choices of how to work with it. So it opens up possibilities that you never had before, which is why it's transformational. And a lot of these things, you know, I mean, anger is always going to come up, for instance, but there's triggers that I used to have. I used to get a lot of anxiety, and those triggers just aren't there anymore. They're not even on the radar.
I love that.
They don't cause body aches and pains, or they don't cause issues with a relationship or whatever.
I love that. So Tarnie, do you have it's the end of the year, right? You know, so at the end of the year, we all start thinking about, you know, how do we want to serve next year? Is there a passion project or something really important to you? Or, you know, just something you have that you're working on right now. Maybe you're going to release it in the new year. We would really love to serve and support you. So if you're working on something, please share.
Yes, thank you, Patty. I actually am going to do it's actually a live workshop here. I'm in Los Angeles. I'm going to do a live workshop called it's not actually called directly this, but it's the fundamentals of body-centered medicine. So it's awakening the body intelligence. And I'm going to be doing that. It's a 4-week series here live, but I'm also going to be doing it virtually, and I'll do it over 1 weekend. And it's really it's an introduction to this work. Or if you already know about this work, you're already on your journey, your consciousness journey, wherever you're at, you can join in. It really teaches you, it's about a 6 to 8 hour course, and it teaches you just the principles and the basics of body-centered medicine. It's my introductory course, or my introductory model to my ongoing training workshop, or there's a master class, there's a few other things you can move into, but it's sort of the first step. I have another one a little bit before that, but that's my one. I have a free workshop free meditation that I do every week. But this in January is this new offering of my fundamentals of body-centered medicine. So either live here in LA or or virtually.
So how would we serve and support you? Where can we find the information so that we could share it, or be able to help you with that and stuff though? So where can we find that information?
I'll be putting it up on my website. It'll be on my homepage. Whenever I've got something happening, I always have it on the homepage. So it's the first thing you go to, which is www.tarniefulloon.com. And also I'll be sending out to the PWN. I'll be sending out the information to everybody. And I would, if anybody's got, I don't know where else I'll be sending it, but PWN, Facebook, my website.
Well, as long as you have it on the website, that's always really a That's always kind of like the most prime real estate.
Okay.
And it's really the easy go-to place. So when somebody says, you know, oh, I'd love to serve her, you know, they get prompted, right? You know, one of the things that we always want to do when we get that prompting to serve and support somebody is, where is the one place, right? And that's why really putting it, like you said, on the home page of your website is fabulous. That's kind of what we do at PWN as well. We put all of our prime real estate
Yes.
there as well. So I think that is really good. So if you're listening, right? If you're listening, this is how we can serve and support her. And if you're interested, and you know, sometimes it's kind of personal, we know this is kind of personal, reach out to Tarnie, because of course she's always going to be available for you to do that. So back to you, Teresa.
Yes, thank you, Tarnie. We will, Patty and I will definitely share that for you. I'm glad you're having it in January. January's got just a spark of aliveness to it, and wanting to go forward in different ways. So our next question leading into that, you know, I love the saying that after our formal education, that the way we get educated is by the books we read and the people we meet. So with that, who can we introduce you to, or who can our audience introduce you to that could be a game changer for you?
That's an interesting question. I'm really interested in training the trainer. I've been doing my work for a long time. I work with many different clients. And I'm really got a lot, there's people are interested in learning my work, which I do have a teacher training in body-centered medicine. And I'm really interested in training the trainer. So I'd love you to introduce anybody who's interested in learning more about this somatic body centering processes. But I'm also interested in organizations, training groups, institutions, universities that might be interested in me doing coaching and training work for them.
Ooh, that sounds absolutely fabulous. So I know that you share with us that most of your information we can find in one nice, easy place on the homepage on your website. But I also know that some people really love to connect on social. Yes. So where is the place on social that you are the most active?
Probably Facebook. I do a little bit of Instagram, but Facebook, and I do have some activity on LinkedIn, and you can find me at tarniefulloon.com, but probably Facebook at the moment is the most. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Tarnie, for being a guest here on Ask the Expert. We appreciate you so much. And of course, you gave us so much value. And as I said earlier, for everybody, you know, don't just connect, but make sure that you have some takeaway for yourself, so that this wasn't just information, it was transformation. So thank you so much, Tarnie, for being here.
Thank you, Patty. And thank you, Teresa. It was lovely being with you both.
And Teresa, thank you so much for being my co-host. I love doing this with you. This is so great that we get to be a team, and I love it. However, thank you to our audience. Thank you so much for tuning in every single week. Thank you for supporting us. Thank you for not keeping us a secret and sharing us with your audience. I always love to say that your audience, your colleagues, your family and friends will thank you, right? Because it's really all about what we share with them to make a difference. So if you enjoyed today's show, and I'm sure you did, please don't keep us a secret. Share it to your network. And believe me when I say your colleagues will thank you. But we have an invitation too, right? We have an invitation as well. So Teresa, will you tell them all about it?
Yes, thank you, Patty. Patty, I'm so grateful for you, and I'm also grateful for you, Tarnie. So this was an amazing interview, and Patty, you were just so insightful. Wow, it gave me goosebumps. So here's my invitation. We would like to invite you to join us to our Facebook group and connect with our guest, with us, and to other amazing women that are part of the Professional Women's Network of the Monterey Peninsula, known as PWN, and now includes members locally, nationally, and internationally too. You can go to www.facebook.com/groups/PWN Monterey.
Awesome. So thank you so much, Teresa. Thank you so much, Tarnie. Again, thank you to our audience. We'll see you again next week.
Thanks,
Bye
Pat.
now.
Bye. Thank you.